Come on with Declan Meehan.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Check out eastcoast.fm for more.
East Coast FM.
Yes, the number here is 087 77 11 103. Declan, has Pat Casey got a share in East Coast FM? Every time I tune in to your show, he's on it. Really? Goodness, I didn't think of it that much. Anyway, the reason Pat was on was because he's the only elected Fianna Fáil TD in the county. And if there's a Fianna Fáil government issue, well, we'll go to Pat. And you'll be saying the same thing now about Deputy John Brady. He's the only Sinn Féin TD, and he'll get all the Sinn Féin questions. And actually, he's on now. Good morning to you, John.
Good morning, Declan. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. There seems to have been a water protest at Kilcoole, and then a resultant of that, a court case. And take us through some of the history of this, leading to what seemed to be a disturbance at Bray Court yesterday.
Yeah, I suppose just on your initial point that, you bring John Brady on to deal with Sinn Féin issues, I suppose from the outset this isn't primarily a Sinn Féin issue.
I understand that, John, yeah.
No, I mean, the people protesting, some were members of Sinn Féin, supporters of Sinn Féin, others are, no official allegiance or anything like that, Declan. I suppose protest in Kilcoole the other day is a continuation of protests that have been happening not just here in Wicklow but right across the entire state against water charges, against the installation of water meters, and there's been a very committed group of people here in Wicklow who, right across the entire county, we've seen hundreds upon hundreds of people out actively protesting against the installation of water meters, and many thousands that are taken to the streets calling for the abolition of Irish water and water charges. And I suppose the protest in Kilcoole the other day was a continuation of those protests. Now, bearing in mind that the government have taken a decision now to suspend water charges for at least 9 months, and a commission is to be set up. So certainly, to all intents and purposes, water charges are on their way out. Now, I had previously called not just for the water charges which have been suspended, but the installation of water metering to not just be suspended whilst we wait the outcome of the commission, but obviously ultimately to abolish and abandon that contract. So the protest the other day, I believe a depot was being used by Irish Water, and the protesters decided to protest against the moving of the vehicles. Certainly, I wasn't there. I seen the film footage, which has been widely, I think it's gone viral now at this stage, which was a very, very peaceful protest in line with all of the protests that have taken place so far. And looking at the video, it got very, very nasty very, very quickly when one individual, he got out of a vehicle. Well, the vehicle appeared to back up and hit one of the protesters initially, and then that individual got out. And certainly, looking at the video, it's very evident that a female protester was very, very viciously pushed to the ground, and another protester.
Yeah, I think this particular individual got out of that pickup truck and went over to this woman who was videoing. There was a lot of video cameras there, camera phones. And he slapped the phone out of her hand, first of all, and then he pushed her to the ground, which seemed bizarre for an Irish Water. If this person is an Irish Water employee...
I'm not sure whether he was Irish Water or whether... No, I don't want to...
I don't know who it is.
I'm not sure whether he was Irish Water or he had some connection to the land in which the vehicles were being stored. So I don't know who. There's different names.
It wasn't normal operations, we'll say.
No, absolutely not. It was very, very vicious. And then that individual, he went over to another guy, which I know was Sean Doyle. Now, anyone that would know Sean is a very, very committed activist. on many fronts, and the individual went on to, certainly it appeared in the video, to assault Sean as well.
Well, there was to be fair, the camera panned away, and when the camera came back, there was a melee going on. So I don't know who actually started it.
Now, anyone that would know Sean he's on. He has to walk with the use of a walking stick, and look, he wouldn't be the best in health, and I know Sean. He certainly wouldn't be a violent type of individual. But the whole thing got completely out of hand. The protesters, as I said, and I've been on many protests, was very peaceful, and certainly no protesters engaged in any violent behaviour. Now, bizarrely, a number of the protesters were arrested. Not the individual who had initiated and started the violence there. That individual walked away, and a number of protesters were arrested.
On what charge?
And I'm not sure the exact charge.
Was it trespassing?
It could have been. Now, I don't want to say definitely, Declan. Now, I think there was an allegation that they were trespassing, but anyone looking at the video would see clearly that they were on the outside of a gate, which, in my mind,
I'm just wondering what they could have been charged with. Was it charged with, the melee that was on, or was it trespassing or what? But anyway, we don't know, so we're only speculating. But it went to court yesterday.
It went to court. Well, the guys, they were remanded in custody overnight in Clover Hill Prison. That was the day before. After being initially arrested, they were brought into Bray Court yesterday, and there was a lot of protesters there to support the two guys, Sean Doyle and Eamon McGrath, who are both in their 60s, who had been held overnight in Clover Hill, and both men appeared yesterday. There was two other individuals up, but they were out. They hadn't been. I think they were released on bail. And the two guys, they appeared before court, and both have been remanded in custody. I think Sean is remanded in custody up until the 21st of May, and Eamon is remanded in custody up until the 24th of June, which is, it's quite bizarre that we have, the water charges, which certainly appear to be on their way out. They have been suspended, and this appears to be another kick in the teeth of the protesters. And bearing in mind, the majority of TDs that were elected to the 32nd Dáil are opposed to water charges or have called for their suspension. So that mandate has been initiated. So certainly it appears that water charges are on the way out, and these guys are protesting against what certainly appears to be a lame duck. And then we have two, protesters who passionately believe in what they're doing as to why that water charges need to go, and they're behind bars now as we speak.
Yeah, okay. Keep us informed anyway, John, and we'll see. I
will indeed now. I know a cross-party delegation of TDs are going out to Clover Hill today to try gain access to see the two guys, just to have a chat and keep the morale up and that. Now I know yesterday down outside the Bray Courthouse it got a little bit hot and heavy there. People's obviously anger and frustration, and this is kind of spilled over a little bit there yesterday as well. Just people's anger and tempers are very frayed at this point, So look, this could easily be ended, and I said it 2 or 3 times. We have a suspension of water charges. The installation of water meters should also be suspended pending the outcome of that commission. And I ultimately believe that it will go. I've said the $500 million being wasted installing water meters across the state could and should quite easily be spent on fixing the infrastructure, upgrading the network and all of that.
Know your views on that anyway, John. Let's see what happens with the lads anyway. Thanks very much indeed.
Okay.
We'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
And that's Sinn Féin Deputy for the County, John Brady there. Our number is 087 77 11 103 is a number. It's a dreadful, tragic story, and it is